However, if you have to grow within the career, if you have to do very well in your career, then at a DNA level, right at the personality, at an attitude level, you will have to work, and that is given by the nakshatra which rules your 10th house.
Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list.
Hello, namaskar and adab to all my friends. From your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel, Astro Assurance. Now, we know that every sign, so every house has a sign, and every sign is divided into, in fact, 2 nakshatras and slightly more. So, which is the nakshatra? How do we arrive at which is the nakshatra which rules at 10th house? We need to see what is the ascendant degrees, and basis that degree of the ascendant, which is the nakshatra which corresponds to that degree in the 10th house. This is what degree the ascendant is, and that degree what corresponds to the 10th house, whichever nakshatra is at the 10th, at that specific degree corresponding to the degree of the ascendant, that becomes the ruling nakshatra and the guiding nakshatra of the 10th house. So, for example, if you are at 7 degrees of Aries as the ascendant, then at 7 degrees of Capricorn, which becomes your 10th house, which is the nakshatra at 7th degree of Capricorn, that is the Uttarashada nakshatra. And which is the planet which rules the Uttarashada nakshatra, which is the lord of Uttarashada nakshatra, that is Sun. Which means that in your career, if your 10th lord goes and gets placed in any house, then your career will get connected by virtue of Capricorn energies with that house, where dedication, commitment, all that is important, and wherever it is placed, whichever house it is placed, that manifestation will come, that area of life will come in, that's how the work will get connected. So that is the connection. But if you need to truly grow within your work, and if you need to do well, and you need not just survive, but grow, perform, and also be prosperous in your work, then you will have to carry the energies of the ruler of the nakshatra, that is the lord of the nakshatra, and the attitude and the manifestation and the personality and the characteristics of the planet is what will take you forward. And if you miss this out, and many times people miss that this minor element out, and it is these minor elements which actually push us back and do not allow us to grow. We feel that we have great horoscope, we have a great 10th lord placement, we have strong 10th house also, 10th house lord's placement is also very strong, and many times still we don't get the growth, we don't get the prosperity, we don't get the recognition at work. The reason being is, whichever is the nakshatra which is ruling or corresponding to the 10th house, that lord's attitude, personality is not being carried by you. So if Sun is the lord of the nakshatra which rules the 10th house, the attitude should be of what the Sun represents, which means Sun's representation of accountability, of responsibility, and leading from the front is what one showcases here. This is not about taking larger responsibilities, but it is about being accountable for your work. Even if you're not the boss, you're one of the team members, but holding yourself accountable. Now, when you hold yourself accountable, when you take responsibility or shoulder responsibility rather than blaming on the boss, then what happens? You also showcase the manifestation or attitude of a leader. And because you're taking accountability and you feel you are responsible for output of the team or the department, then you work harder. And because you want to take accountability, you will also volunteer, and you will also shoulder responsibility when questions are asked why something didn't work or why didn't something happen in a certain way. And when you keep showing that to the leadership, you keep showing that to your bosses that you're ready to take accountability. When you tell your boss that, boss, you're not alone responsible, I also am responsible, I will also take accountability, we are all behind you, we stand behind you, then your boss will also, your managers, your supervisors also trust you more, and they depend on you more. They think that you are more dependable because you are more responsible and you're more accountable for work. They will also depend on you more. They may also delegate some more work to you. And even if not asked, you should ask for delegation. You should take more responsibility. Sometimes we think that unless being given work, I will not take the work, and why should I take extra work? I get paid only so much. But when you stand up and when you see that your boss is working very hard and you think, oh, he works hard because he's getting paid more. Rather than that approach, if you feel your boss is laden with work, laden with responsibility, volunteer for some responsibility yourself and say, I am ready to take the responsibility. I'm more than happy to shoulder that responsibility, and I'll take accountability. So then your bosses depend on you more, and then they see the leadership quality in you. And when the time comes for recognition, for promotion, for growth, they will not hesitate to push your case also. So when your bosses are not insecure about you, when they are not fearful that you are trying to overshadow them, then of course they will support you. They will also feel grateful towards you. You will appreciate your work, and they'll push your case. Secondly, what happens is, you may not always grow within the organization with Sun. Sometimes you are given parallel role. When you're seen that you have the leadership quality, then you're allowed to grow within the other departments also. This is more of that leadership will be allowed to grow by giving them different roles at different times. And if you perform well, sometimes you have to show that you're ready before the responsibility is given to you. It's not always that only after you are given the responsibility, then we will see whether you perform or not. Many times you have to show that you have the competence, you have the capability, then the responsibility is given to you. And so if the Nakshatra Lord of the 10th house is Sun, then you will have to take more accountability, more responsibility. And you will also have to take the responsibility for the other team members, to stand by them like as if you are the leader. So without showing that you are a leader, or without trying to project yourself as a leader, reach out to support them. If they need help, give a helping hand, volunteer to help. Then they also will not hesitate to take you as a leader. And in fact, they may second your name when the opportunity comes. So it is about taking leadership, taking accountability, even without being given the role or the designation. But because of the manifestation of the personality, that characteristics, you grow and you open up the opportunity to grow faster and higher. So if you have Sun as a Nakshatra Lord, you have a work cut out for you. If you have Mercury as a Nakshatra Lord, then this is more about how you go about your work in a very planned manner, in a very logical manner, in a very practical manner, but in a very educated manner. This is all about being very, very data oriented, very, very research oriented. Many people who have the 10th Lord, the 10th house being ruled by a nakshatra whose Lord is Mercury, if they approach their work, especially the better performing ones, you will find these people will be the one who are very, very data backed. So they will look at the slices of data in various manners. They will look in depth. They will carry out a detailed analysis. They will try to look for logical answers, logical solutions. They will also compare performances using data. They will compare customer satisfaction using data. So most of their decisions will be data oriented, and will also go with numbers. These are number driven people. They are facts driven people, and they will not go with supporting some fallacies just because somebody thinks very strongly about something. Here there is no feeling, there is no role for gut feeling. This is more about being data oriented, going about in the logical manner, in a very practical manner, in a very planned manner. So these people will be able to see what's coming after a year, 2 years, or even 3 years, because the data shows the trend. So these are the people who will do a strong trend analysis. They will have most of their data will be in Excel forms. They will have graphs which are ready, and their presentations will also be very, very crisp, very, very data oriented, and very, very logical. And hence these people, many of them score over others because they go with their numbers. They are very, very strong, and they are very logical, and they are very, very communicative. They know how to present their score or their case in a very strong manner. And these people are able to market themselves very, very strongly. These are not the people who are running around the office with files in their hand just to leave an impression on the superiors that this person seems to be always running, always very, very busy. This person is very, very hardworking. They leave an impression because in the boardrooms, when they are presenting, when they're showing or they're presenting their data, even if they're making a presentation for the bosses, and they will do it in such a manner where the bosses will look good. And then because the bosses will look good because of your data, your presentations, the slices that you have put together, then the bosses will also support you. And these people will be very, very good at leaving a mark. So they will leave a mark, they will leave their brand by marketing themselves as people who the bosses can depend on, the department can depend on, the company can depend on. So when you become dependable, based on your logic, your reasoning, data oriented, with a very practical approach, number driven approach, then nobody can question you. Numbers work in today's world, and wherever you go, it is numbers which are driving the world, numbers which are taking the world forward. So if you have the 10th house Nakshatra Lord as Mercury, you know that communication, being very good, precise, logical in communication, being data oriented, very logical, being very prepared, and very analysis oriented. This is not only about being analytical. This is also about being analytical by using analysis, by using all sorts of data slices. And these people are the ones who will depend a lot on the interdepartment connections. They will know people in different departments. They will know where to extract the data. They will go with market research. They will collect information about competitors also. Even if you don't have that big a role where you need market research and data and all, if you think that way, and if your presentation is that way, if your department is posited as if you're competing with the industry and you use industry analysis to be able to present your case, then you're already showcasing yourself as a true future leader. So if Mercury is the Lord of the Nakshatra, which is the Nakshatra of the 10th house, then it's a very logical, practical, data-oriented approach and growth for you. If you have Venus as the Lord of the Nakshatra, which rules the 10th house, this is all about very good, very sophisticated in your approach to work. This is about relationship. This is about being able to build those connections. This is about building bridges. And this is about having no animosity and no friction with anybody. So people who have a strong Venus Nakshatra energies, these will be the people generally, if they are up to the task, they will be the one who are always building bridges or mending bridges. They will never get into a tutu meme, but they are ready to share the credit also, and through that build bridges also. Even if they are doing very well, they will also take the team along, and many times they may share the credit with others, and through that they will win hearts. And because of also an approach where you are trying to build relationships, these people will know almost somebody or the other at different departments, and so the help will also come to them because of the ability to be able to strike relationships. In tough times also they will have support, in their good times also they will have support. And these people know what are the hot buttons to push, who are the power centers, and they will be able to push those, and they will be very sophisticated in their language, in their approach. These people will be very good, very well groomed. They will already look like a leader even before they are not the leader. So they will wear good clothes, they will wear good labels, and they will also approach work with the finesse. And also their workstations will be very clean. The workstation will be in order. The offices will be in order, and they'll work a lot on the beautification of the presentation. The fonts will be very precise, very colorful, very presentable. Of course, the data also has to be right, but the presentation will be immaculate. And because of the approach of relationship building, they will also do well. And their relationship will not just be with their colleagues or one-downs. They will also, because of the sophistication approach, because of the ability to build relationship, they will also leave a mark on the other departments. So if you are able to work and solve problems with other department people, then the heads of those departments will also keep an eye on you, and they will know that this person seems to be leadership material. And so when the time comes to help your case, they will do that. Such people with Venus is the Nakshatra Lord which rules the 10th house will also have a way of working with the opposite gender. And many a time the opposite gender becomes also their backbone to growth. But if there are afflictions to Venus, while the Venus is the Nakshatra Lord, this can also become a reason for your downfall. So if you have the Venus as the Nakshatra Lord of the 10th house, be very careful how you work with the opposite gender. They could be the stronger ladder towards success and towards going higher in the organization. So if you have Venus as the Nakshatra Lord, build relationship, be ready to balance out, be ready to contribute more, always try to do more even if you are getting less, and try to leave a mark. Be sophisticated, use language which is industry related, and use more sophisticated language than you others. Work on your vocabulary, work on your presentation skills, work on how you look, work on how you are able to groom yourself, and be ability to strike across genders, across boundaries, and build those tentacles of relationships across not only inter-department but also across organizations. And let your leadership know that your roots are very, very strong. And then you will see that the Venus helps you to grow and grow very well. If Moon is the lord of the Nakshatra, which is the ruler of the 10th house, then it's all about being able to showcase a approach where you seem to be the backbone of the department, or you are the one who is guiding everybody, you are the support, or you're the nourishment of the department itself, you're the nourishment of the team. And you know almost everything about whatever is connected to your department, and at the business level also. The more you know, the more innovative you can be, more creative you can be. Moon as the Nakshatra Lord is more about creativity, more about supporting, about nourishing others, and having a strong understanding of the business. Moon is about not empathy only related to team members, but empathy towards business, having a deep understanding of how the business runs. So if you are in the real estate industry, you know from how the land parcel is procured, how the permissions are cleared, how the liaison department works, and what the next step is. You should know the entire life cycle of the project, from acquiring a land parcel to construction of the building of the premises and handing over, and how the entire loop works. So when you have a deep understanding of the business, then only you can exploit it. And because you have a deep understanding of the business, you also know where the flaws are. Then you can also be innovative. You can also be very, very creative, and you can also be a problem solver. Moon's best ability as the Nakshatra Lord is about showing that you are able to support different roles, and you can fit into any role very, very easily, very, very quickly. And because you have such an in-depth understanding of the role, in-depth understanding of not only the department but for the industry, you can also, if given a senior leadership, you can also run very well. And because of having a very, very keen understanding of the nature of the business, you can also vie ultimately for the highest level, highest office. And this is also about having a deep understanding and empathy for not only people around you, but also having empathy for leadership. Sometimes it is also better, I would not say to suck up to the leadership, but to have a more empathetical approach to leadership. So sometimes even if the relationship is not going much stronger with your leadership, with your managers, to take it easy, not take it too much too hard, not become too emotional about it, and to keep emotions to the side, because sometimes the moon can interfere and you may think you're thinking logically, why should I put up with this? Why should I deal with this? But it is about being more open, giving more space, giving more room to others, rather than becoming too emotionally attached to your work or to the relationship with your bosses. And keep a pace away, be more empathetic, understanding, but also don't get too emotionally attached to anybody at work or to boss, or not to take things too hard. Have a more steel-hearted approach, be strong in your emotions, be nourishing, be supporting, and have a keen eye, keep an eye open for how the industry works, how the entire life cycle works, know what makes the business go, and through that you will be able to show that you know more about the business, you are a problem solver, you are an achiever, you are also able to support others, you are able to take people along, and through that you will get success. And so when you're able to present that part of you to the leadership, to the important people in your organization, and through that showcasing or putting your creativity, your innovative approach, and your knowledge of the business itself, is the winning mantra for you. Now, if Mars is the ruler of the nakshatra, which is the nakshatra of the 10th house, here it's about being very, very strong in your convictions, belief, and being ready to put up a fight. This is not about fighting others, but here it is about standing by your belief and standing your ground. This is about being able to showcase a strong willpower even in very, very adverse situations, and being ready to put up a fight, being ready to put in more energy, and being a healer, a problem solver. Mars is also the engineer. The engineer solves problems. Mars is also about healing, and Mars is also about winning. So being ready to put in extra hours, being ready to put in hard work, and being ready to go the distance, and fighting for what you believe in. So this is about putting a strong foot and asking for and pushing your case where you need resources, where you need support for your team, where you need more time, and also when you need to stand by the performance of your team not to take anything lying down. This is also, but being a little careful, not being too temperamental, because sometimes you may scare the leadership, and because you're scaring the leadership doesn't stand by you, because they think, they become insecure because of your over assertive approach. So be clear and be very careful of where you showcase that assertiveness, where you showcase your strength. Strong belief in your team, strong belief in your convictions is good. However, being flexible enough, the general is flexible. The general knows when to change the tactics, when to change the strategy to be able to win the battle, and through that ultimately win the war. So be ready to be flexible enough. Work closely with the leadership and become a general for the king. The king is your manager, your supervisor who you report into. And so it's establishing a strong bond. And the confidence in each other is very, very important, so that the leadership doesn't become insecure about you, doesn't fear you. And if you are ready to stand up for your department, fight for your departments, fight for your convictions. And this is not about an aggressive fight. This is about standing by your belief, being more assertive rather than aggressive. Then, because you're showing the leadership and you're ready to put up a front, you're ready to put in more hard work, and you believe in the kind of work, the quality of work that you're doing, and pushing for better quality, always being a problem solver. Any organization and your managers don't like a problem creator. They like a problem solver. So if you become a troubleshooter, you become a problem solver, and you are ready to put in more energy, put in long, hard work, ready to stand up for your conviction, then you show your leadership material, you show that you're competent. And if you're able to create that confidence and work with the leadership, then they know that they have a strong general in the department who they can depend on. And because of you, they also feel empowered, they also feel strong, and they also believe in the conviction, in the work output. And so through that, you are able to put your best foot forward as not just the general, but also a leadership material, a king material later on. So if Mars is the lord of the nakshatra, growth, nobody can stop your growth, nobody can stop you to win. If Jupiter is the lord of the nakshatra, which is the nakshatra of the 10th house, here Jupiter expands, which means that many times you should be ready to take more responsibility. And Jupiter is also about being wise and also approaching your work, leadership, disaster-oriented situations also with a lot of wisdom, with a very open heart. And this is also about being able to understand at a deeper level what is ailing. Sometimes within the teams there may be some friction, some challenges, some issues, and many times departments don't speak to each other, or departments feel that we are loggerhead with each other. So many times the Jupiter person is the wise person. This is also a person who is able to ensure that the work is smoothly being transitioned and transacted between departments, where the handover is happening, who is taking it forward, where the closure happens. And because of a deep understanding of people's temperament, these people will know what the temperament of which person is, and they will use their wisdom to be able to deal with that person that way. So somebody is very, very temperamental, gets very, very agitated, they will behave in a very calm manner, they will be able to talk very calmly, they will lower their tone, they will talk more softer, establish a relationship, give the confidence, maybe praise the person a little bit and extract the work from somebody else. Somebody else who doesn't have the confidence, these people will pep them up, give them a pep talk, tell them that they can depend on them. And through that, through their wisdom to be able to deal with different kinds of people, they will be able to take the work forward. They will wisely be able to deal with people not only at a high level, but even at a lower level. And because of their wisdom and their expertise, these people are like gurus. They are master of their craft. They know in and out how the department works. They know what kind of competency is required for a better output. And these are masters. They are very, very good at their craft. Because of being very, very good, because of being masterly, they also stand out. And nobody is able to question them so much because they don't only have the answers, but when they question others, many times the people being questioned may not have the answers. So people are a little fearful also of them, but they are also in awe of their understanding of the business and their mastery of the subject. So such people are really sought after by the department. They are also problem solvers by the sheer authority over the subject, over the competence that is needed, and the ability to take people along, deal wisely with people, deal wisely with across departments. These are also the people who are many times utilized to work outside of the organization also and to get approval also, because these are very wise people and they are also masters and the gurus. They also know how to be able to extract deals or crack deals with others through their wisdom, through the ability to work with different people, to understand, to have an in-depth understanding of what is the nature of the person, what will work, what will not work. And so through sheer wisdom, through mastery, through being able to present themselves as competent gurus, having an ability to understand people, working with different temperaments, and having that experience and the maturity, they will be able to put their best foot forward. And who can stop when you have a strong master guru in your midst? If Saturn is the lord of the nakshatra, which rules the 10th house, here it's about being very, very, very patient, very, very hardworking. But this is also about being very stable. Now, if you are somebody who's the bedrock of the department, where you're very, very stable in your work, you are very structured, you're very disciplined in your work, you're very good at your work, you almost worship your work, you almost worship the department, you almost worship the organization, and you follow all the rules, you know all the standard operating procedures, you never go against the rules, you never go against the leaders, you will take anything which the leadership tells you as gospel truth, and you are willing to put in extra hard hours. So this is more of a servant leader kind of person, where through sheer ability to serve, you rise. Nobody fears you because everybody feels that you're a team worker, and because you're such a strong team worker, you're filling in for others, you're helping others, you are ready to stand by for people, and you're ready to put in the long hours, and you're really patient. So sometimes these are the most long-lasting people in the organization, and by the sheer tenure that they have, the stability that they bring in, the competence that they bring in, the hard work that they bring in, and through that they're able to showcase themselves as leaders, as people who can be the backbone of not only the department or the organization also. And because they have been people who have really been very, very loyal, very, very committed, then the leadership will also then reward you for your loyalty, for your commitment. This is not about bootlicking somebody or then agreeing to whatever they say, but this is about because of being very, very hardworking and being the bedrock of the department, that the leadership favors you, the leadership supports you, the leadership confides in you, and the leadership believes in you, and by sheer hard work, stability, and through your patience and perseverance, even in the most tough times, you persevere and you come out of it as a team worker. So a lot of other people in most tough times may be ready to abandon the ship, but you are the one who, as a team worker, that you're even ready to sink with the ship, and the leadership looks forward to that kind of stability in the leadership. And so through sheer hard work, sheer stability, and sheer tenure, you rise to the top. If Rahu is the lord of the nakshatra, which rules the 10th house, so here it is about how you use sheer intellect and tact, ability to work with different departments more tactfully, and maybe with a little manipulation here and there. However, through being able to build relationship, and sometimes you will also know secrets of others, and you will also know where to extract work from. You will also be able to exploit good and bad relations. If you know that two people are not really getting along well with each other, you may be able to use that animosity for the well-being of your own department and to push the case of your team. And you will be able to exploit the weaknesses of others also to be able to get your work done. So it is a little tricky sometimes. Being too tactful, too diplomatic can also come across as too manipulative. So this is an energy you need to balance better. If you have a strong nakshatra lord Rahu, which is kind of taking over your career, then it is better also to depend on somebody who's wise in the organization and to take their support also, and to be in their good books, because this can also be very, very sudden rise to the top, but this can also bring you down with a thud. So if Rahu is the nakshatra lord, work with tact, work with diplomacy, but also know where to pull yourself back and not to push too much, not to try to become too exploitive, too tactful, or come across as too manipulative, or try to come across as unethical. Sometimes these people will push boundaries, will also push rules, sometimes also set aside rules. So try and not showcase yourself as somebody who tries to exploit others, exploit situations, is very opportunistic, and then you will have a better chance of higher growth and stronger growth. Keep the leadership on your side, and sometimes you may scare leadership because they see you as very, very tactful and too clever for them. So subduing your cleverness, subduing your need to exploit others and to push the boundary of ethics and work within the rules and regulation of the organization is the need of the hour here. So if Rahu is the nakshatra lord, you can have strong growth, very very, very high growth, but be a little careful not to be too aggressive or be too ambitious, because then the downfall could be just around the corner. Now, if Ketu is the lord of the Nakshatra, which rules the 10th house, then this is a work cut out for you. Yeah, a lot of people with Ketu as the Nakshatra lord sometimes are not able to see where the problems are coming from. They are too dedicated in their work. Sometimes they are not able to see competition also, or people who are working behind their back. Many times, because of not being too competitive, they may not attract competition also, because people are not fearful of you, people are not insecure about you. But you may be the person who works with a lot of dedication, but with a lot of commitment. However, you may not be the person who knows people very, very well, who's very, very deeply attached to work, or who gives a lot to the work in terms of knowing what the overall life cycle of the company is, how the organization works, who are the power centers, what the grapevine is. You may know only so much because you're too dedicated to the work. Sometimes you become blindsided to what's happening around you. So with Ketu as the Nakshatra lord, it's more about giving and doing for others, and through sheer hard work and contribution, then the zodiac doing more for you. Many times these people may be also ones who are not given the opportunities, not given the growth. So this is a hard approach towards work, and you have to struggle through work. So if you have Ketu as a Nakshatra lord, many times it is good to put in hard work, to be dedicated, to be committed, and do more for the organization first, and then expect that the organization or your bosses do for you. It may not always happen with Ketu as the Nakshatra lord. So here one has to learn to push your case, to ask, and sometimes even put a strong assertive front for your deserving role, for your deserving authority, for your deserving power and influence. And it also works to know the power centers on the organization, because this can also be a situation where these people are the least appreciated, least recognized, and these can also be the people who are least given growth, even when they most deserve it. So if you have Ketu as the Nakshatra lord of the 10th house, work with dedication, work with patience, depend on the supreme energy to be able to give you the fruits of your labor, rather than depend on the management. But work on the power centers, know who are the power centers, work on your relationship, work on asking for and demanding the deserved role also, deserved growth also, because if you are too giving, sometimes you end up on the losing side, and that is when Ketu can be the Nakshatra lord of the 10th house. So friends, now that we have discussed how the different Nakshatra lords will play out in their energies, but what their attitude you need to present yourself, what personality you need to bring it to the table, so that you enjoy growth, you enjoy elevation within the organization also. So understand your Nakshatra, 10th house Nakshatra energies well, understand the Lord's energies well, understand what attitude you need to showcase, and work on the attitude so that you have a greater chance of success in your work or in your career or in your vocation. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide, Irfan, signing off. Ciao.